All right. It is Monday, February 20th, 19th,
19, yeah.
2024. I was so close, and yet so far. And Ed is here with us tonight. Ed, we haven't seen Ed in a long time. So welcome, Ed.
Thank you. Very glad to be here.
Glad
Thank
you
you for
could
the
be.
invite, by the way.
Absolutely.
Good to
And
see Marilyn too. We used to cross paths. Richard and Rachel, I think we have crossed paths more than a couple times. So
oh yeah. Yeah. That's a happy problem to have. So yeah. So there's that.
are you two in the Elgin Fox River Valley area?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
As a matter of fact, just moments ago, we were almost in the Fox River,
You're almost in the
wait.
Fox River.
waiting around, looking for squirrels and. All right, maybe we weren't, but I mean,
Fishing.
we can see the edge of the bank of the thing that goes down into the actual valley,
Oh, you can't.
sort of.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if we climb this giant tree over there in the neighbor's yard, I'll bet you.
How's your life? How's your life insurance, by the way?
Oh yeah, yeah. There you go. It's yeah. In case I fall out of the tree or drown in the river looking for squirrels.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we are in Joshua, and we just finished chapter 12, where the kings were defeated by Israel. Actually, God delivered them into Israel's hands.
If I just wanted to stop you just for a second. If I jump up, it's not that I'm upset. I'm making supper for my wife. I thought this meeting was at 5:30. So I shall return.
Very well.
I won't eat in front of you. I promise not to.
Well, you can if you want. Just make it look really good. Just like like you're having a great time.
I try. It never works. So.
Let's see. I believe, or was it? Marilyn, do you have the bookmark?
Yeah, we start the 13th chapter.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Okay.
Mentioned all those from each of the towns.
Right. Okay, so here we are, chapter 13. Now Joshua was old and advanced in years when the Lord said to him, "You are old and advanced in years, and very much of the land remains to be possessed." You still got a lot of work to do, Joshua. I know you're old and advanced in years, but you got a lot more to do. This is the land that remains, all the regions of the Philistines and all those of the Geshurites, from the Shior, which is east of Egypt, even as far, I imagine that would be the Sinai, even as far as the border of Ekron to the north, it is counted as Canaanite. The five lords of the Philistines, the Gazite, the Ashdodite, the Ashkelonite, the Gittite, the Ekronite, the Avite. To the south, all the land of the Canaanite, and the Meara that belongs to the Sidonians, as far as Aphek to the border of the Amorites, and the land of the Gebalites, and all of Lebanon toward the east, far from Baal-Gad, below Mount Hermon, as far as Lebo Hamath. All the inhabitants of the hill country from Lebanon, as far as Misrephoth Maim, all the Sidonians, I will drive them out from before the sons of Israel. So this is God saying, he's going to clear out the land. I will drive them out from before the sons of Israel. Only allot it to Israel for an inheritance as I have commanded you. Now, therefore, apportion this land for an inheritance to the 9 tribes and the half tribe of Manasseh. With the other half tribe, the Reubenites and the Gadites received their inheritance, which Moses gave them beyond the Jordan to the east, just as Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave to them. From Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of Arnon, with the city which is in the middle of the valley, and all the plain of Medeba, as far as Dibon, and all the cities of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, as far as the border of the sons of Ammon. And Gilead, he has no place to sit. And Gilead, and the territory of the Geshurites, and the Maccathites, and all Mount Hermon, in all Bashan as far as Saleka. All the kingdom of Og, who was the giant guy, in Bashan, who reigned in Ashtaroth and in Edrei. He alone was left of the remnant of the Rephaim, for Moses struck them and dispossessed them. But the sons of Israel did not dispossess the Jeshurites or the Maacathites, for Jeshur and Maacath live among the Israel until this day, in the writing of Joshua. Only to the tribe of Levi he did not give an inheritance. The offerings by fire to the Lord, the God of Israel, are their inheritance, as he spoke to him. So Moses gave an inheritance to the tribe of the sons of Reuben according to their families. Their territory was from Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, with the city, which is in the middle of the valley, and all the plain of Medeba, Heshbon, and all its cities, which are on the plain, Dibon, and Bamoth Baal, and Beth Baal Meon, and Jahaz, and Kedemoth, and Mephath, and Kiriathaim, and Sibma, and Zareth Shahar on the hill of the valley, and Beth Peor, and the slopes of Pisgah, and Beth Jeshimon, even all the cities of the plain, and all the kingdom of the Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, whom Moses struck with the chiefs of Midian, Evi, and Rakim, and Zur, and Hur, and Reba, the princes of Sihon, who lived in the land. The sons of Israel also killed Balaam, the son of Beor, the diviner, with the sword, among the rest of the slain, of their slain. The border of the sons of Reuben was the Jordan. This was the inheritance of the sons of Reuben, according to their families and the cities and their villages. Moses also gave an inheritance to the tribe of Gad, to the sons of Gad, according to their families. Their territory was Jazer, and all the cities of Gilead, and half the land of the sons of Ammon, as far as Aroer, which is before Rabbah, and from Heshbon as far as Ramoth Mizpah and Betonim, and from Mahanaim as far as the border of Debir, and in the valley of Beth Haram, and Beth Nimrah, and Sukkoth, and Zephon, and the rest of the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Heshbon, with the Jordan as the border, as far as the lower end of the sea of Chinnereth, beyond the Jordan to the east. Hope you guys are taking notes. There will be a test. This is the inheritance of the sons of Gad according to their families, the cities and their villages. Moses also gave an inheritance to the half tribe of Manasseh, and it was for the half tribe of the sons of Manasseh according to their families. Their territory was from Mahanaim, all Bashan, all the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and all the towns of Jair, which are in Bashan, 60 cities. Also half of Gilead, with Ashtaroth and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan, were the sons of Machir, the sons of Manasseh, for half of the sons of Machir, according to their families. These are the territories which Moses apportioned for their inheritance in the plains of Moab, beyond the Jordan, at Jericho to the east. But to the tribe of Levi, Moses did not give an inheritance. The Lord, the God of Israel, is their inheritance, as he had promised to them. Questions, comments, thoughts? If you want a more in-depth picture of that, generally in the back of most Bibles, you're going to find a whole bunch of maps, and there is one map in particular, and I was trying to find a way earlier. I was looking at this thing, and I was considering a way to get this posted on here, but I really am not any good at that. Oh, I think I lost my page. Don't lose my page. Don't lose the page.
I got the
lose the page.
I got
Okay, and it's right there. I don't know if you can see it, and it probably doesn't.
Yeah, well, sort of.
It's the map of the Exodus route in the conquest of Canaan, and it shows the map of all the different places and where everything is. And if I was more adept and a smarter man, then I would be able to post this up here so that you guys could see it, and I could do like a little fancy pointer deal, like a laser pointer, and but I'm not able to do that. And so maybe at some point, years from now, when it's no longer applicable to this particular study, I'll be able to figure that out and post it, and everybody will go, why is that up there? Oh, please don't hit end. No, it's good. We're good. We're good. I'll have to, thank you though. I'll have to figure it out at some point. Or you could. That would be wonderful. Thank you. Again, I lost my page. Okay, so
238.
238. Thank you. You are
Mhm.
wonderful. Isn't she wonderful?
Mhm.
I'll marry you. Anyway,
Does he know we're married now?
we are married. Did you know that? Did we
I
plan
did
that?
not know
We got
that.
married. We got married. She finally broke
that
down
this-
and had me. She's like, okay, fine, I'll deal with it. All right.
Was that this morning or?
That was yeah, that was the end of September.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was a lovely service. We posted that online somewhere.
Yeah.
For her family, because her family is from Missouri, and they
Okay.
were unable to make the trip. So we posted the thing so that they could see the video. And we also posted it so that if America's Funniest Videos is at all interested, they could take a look at that also.
Correct.
Well, congratulations are in order. You can see how up to date I am, you know,
Right.
at least more than September. So,
Hmm.
no. Well, I remember when we were all getting on during COVID and all, that you were engaged. And, you know, that can be a short period or it can be kind of a long period.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
interminable.
you know,
And,
yes,
yeah.
yes, it can. I suppose it could. Present company excluded, of course, but but yeah. Good deal. Congratulations.
Well,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we
Congratulations.
she surprised me. We were engaged 6 years, and I'd pretty much decided, okay, I'm going to be permanently engaged. And she calls me up and she says, okay, all right, let's get married. I'm going to get married on October 2nd.
Mm.
I'm like, why October 2nd? She said, I don't know, just October 2nd. I'm like,
That's for the courthouse. We were gonna go to the
oh,
courthouse.
right. That's right. She
Yeah.
wanted to go to the courthouse, and we were going to go to the courthouse and get
But-
married. But instead, we ended up having a church
Because I was-
wedding.
Because I wanted to honor God.
But she wanted to honor God.
Yeah. And I was thinking the courthouse doesn't recognize God.
Right.
Or they wouldn't have it, most likely.
So we ended up having it at this wonderful little church near us,
Mhm.
and yeah. And then after we got married, we found a house, and so we
Mhm.
finally, after all these years, we finally are living together now, and we're in the same
I
place.
do
at the same-
notice. I do notice the background is a little bit different. I think it was kind of like the far side of the kitchen
It was,
when we
It
were
was.
in Zoom land,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, I thought maybe you're in a different room or something. I didn't pay too much attention to that.
Yeah,
It's funny
no.
what you said about getting married in the courthouse, because my wife and I, when we got married, that's what we thought. And then over where I go to church, there was a little chapel, which really isn't any more than something that holds about 25, 30 people. I think it used to be what they used to call the bride's room.
Oh,
And they
okay.
have that set up like a chapel now. So we use that. And
Very
some of
cool.
the logic you had was kind of
Yeah.
the same as mine. Because I mean the courthouse I guess makes it legal, but holy, you know,
Right.
decided against it. So
Yeah, it was a beautiful service too. We
Cool.
we met
Excellent.
with the pastor, and we talked to them several times, and he says, well, what do you want for vows? And we said, you pick. And what he chose was just, oh man, just wow.
Yeah.
It was just wonderful. I mean, the Lord was
Good.
really there. Brought me to tears.
Good.
It really did. It was just wonderful. So
Mhm.
good deal.
yeah. So
There's a cat outside.
is there a
Yeah,
cat
he's all
outside?
puffy. His tail's puffy. You know, they get scared or anxious or something.
Well, as long as it's not like a bobcat or a tiger or something, I suppose we'll be okay. Because
Absolutely.
I
I
mean,
think it's another
Well-
domestic cat.
okay. 'Cause
Okay,
I mean, like I imagine a tiger could get in here fairly easily,
correct.
wouldn't you think? I mean, this glass isn't gonna stop it. He decides to come in,
No,
and
It's,
you
you
know,
can
I
see
don't
how
have
fast
to be real fast. I just have to be a
how
little bit.
fast you could run at that point. This
I'll
this
throw myself in
reading-
front of the tiger.
no.
I'm sorry. What?
the reading we had, you know, I knew that this was going to be a Bible study, and you know, I didn't know where exactly, or you know, you didn't know exactly what the format was going to be. But I tell you, you picked a place. I imagine you guys are reading through here. There is some jaw-breaking names. I mean,
Oh, man.
you really did good. And once in
No,
a
no, thank you.
once in a while, you'll come across a name like Manassas or Shiloh
Yes.
Yeah.
Names that have you realize where these names come from.
Mhm.
Yes, exactly.
And
Well,
I
if
was
you-
kind of listening to that actually. The geography is something I'll bet I maybe anybody outside of a it's in a theology school, theology, I should say, but not too many people know hardly too much about this. But these guys, this must have been during the time in their history where they were just at war. Because I see back here at 12 the list of the defeated kings, and here's a list of I don't know 20.
At least,
You know?
yes, there were 5 armies. Yeah, the attack of the 5 armies on Gibeon, who had allied itself with Israel, and Gibeon had done it under duplicitous conditions. They came along representing themselves as somebody from very far away, and they wanted to hitch their wagon to Israel, and Israel said, okay, that's fine. We'll come on in and join us and become part of us, and we'll protect you. Look at that. And as a result of that, then they came to find out that the Gibeonites were actually their neighbors, and Israel was supposed to conquer and destroy them, but here they are. They made oaths to protect them, and so when the 5 armies around Gibeon realized that Gibeon had betrayed them and had allied themselves with Israel, then they tried to attack, and Israel was sworn to protect Gibeon, and so that was quite a deal. Where that's where God stopped the sun in the sky and the moon in the sky and continued the day for, I think it was 24 hours, maybe 36 hours.
So they could finish all their handiwork.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I've learned something new. I thought that had to do with maybe in Samuel with Samson or something of that nature.
Oh, no,
wasn't he the guy? Wasn't he the one with the jawbone?
Yes, he was one of the judges. He was the first judge, or one of the first judges, yes. And he slew the 2,000 Philistines with the jawbone of an ass.
Yeah.
And he had quite a few miraculous works there that he did. But we're not there yet. We will get there. We will get there soon. In the meantime, if you guys don't mind, we're going to continue on with the mouthfuls of names. And if in the back of your Bible you have a map, you might want to consult the map because we're going to go through locations.
Oh, all right.
I apologize. I'm unable to post it on here. So we're just going to have to imagine, if you will, in Israel being conquering. There you go. Thank you. There you go.
There you go.
Okay. So chapter 15. Now the lot of the tribe of the sons of Judah, because he's going to go through this. There's
14.
14. Thank you.
Wow, very good.
Now these are the territories which the sons of Israel inherited in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun, and the head of the households of the tribes of the sons of Israel apportioned to them for an inheritance. By the lot of their inheritance as the Lord commanded through Moses, for the 9 tribes and the half-tribe. For Moses had given the inheritance of the 2 tribes and the half-tribe beyond the Jordan. Remember that was on the other side of the Jordan?
Yeah.
Okay, and the half-tribe beyond the Jordan, but he did not give an inheritance to the Levites among them. For the sons of Joseph were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim, and they did not give a portion to the Levites in the land except cities to live in, which with their pasture lands for their livestock and for their property. Thus the sons of Israel did just as the Lord had commanded Moses, and they divided the land. Because remember, Levi, the tribe of Levi, does not get its own nation state. It occupies the cities, and it's the priestly caste that are there to serve and to be of service to the Lord. And so they don't have their own country. They have sections of each country set aside for them to pasture their flocks, and the city is where they primarily occupy. So the land that would have been apportioned to them was divided between Manasseh and Ephraim. So there's that. Thus the sons of Israel did just as the Lord had commanded Moses, and they divided the land. 6. When the sons of Judah drew near to Joshua in Gilgal, And Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, said to him, now remember, Caleb and Joshua were two of the 12 spies that Moses sent into the promised land to go scout it out. And when they came back from scouting it out, 10 of the spies reported there's giants there. We're like grasshoppers in their sight. There's no way we're going to be able to do this. And they scared the snot out of the Israelites. But Caleb and Joshua came back saying, let's just go in there and take it. Let's go, the Lord's behind us. Let's go get this thing. So there were only two people that were true to the Lord. And of all the people of that generation, God said, all of you are going to die off in the wilderness, except for Caleb and Joshua. You guys get to go into the promised land. Even Moses wasn't able to go into the promised land, but Joshua and Caleb were. So he says, in that same 6, the word which the Lord, now this is Caleb speaking to Joshua. He says, the word which the Lord spoke to Moses, the man of God, concerning you and me in Kadesh Barnea. I was 40 years old when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to spy out the land, and I brought back word to him as it was in my heart. In other words, I spoke from the heart. Nevertheless, my brethren who went up with me made the heart of the people melt with fear, the other 10 people. But I followed the Lord, my God, fully. So Moses swore on that day, saying, surely the land on which your foot has trodden will be an inheritance to you and to your children forever, because you have followed the Lord, my God, fully. So basically, wherever you traveled around in there, that's going to belong to you someday. Now, behold, the Lord has let me live, just as he spoke these 45 years, from the time that the Lord spoke this word to Moses, when Israel walked in the wilderness. And now, behold, I am 85 years old today. This is
Question.
That's a phone call.
Wait. Let me.
Did you have a question, Marilyn?
Yeah. Just as he spoke, thank you, Ed. Just as he spoke these 45 years from the time that the Lord spoke this word to Moses. So they were in the wilderness 40 years. Where's he coming up with 45? Where's the extra 5 years?
That could have been time elapsed. Because I'm sure the moving all throughout Israel with the warring, and because they went as far north as Mount Hermon, and there was war and assault up there in their conquest areas, and so it's quite a large area that was covered by the Israelites in their campaigns against the inhabitants of the Promised Land. And so it's entirely possible that 5 years has elapsed, but it's also that could have been an extra 5 years here and there, 6 months here, 7 months there, that were spread out doing other things, crossing the Jordan, moving people here, moving people there,
I see. Okay.
But the point is, the guy, he went in. Hold on a minute. He was 45 when he went into the Promised Land as a spy. And 40 years elapsed since that point. So really no time. It's been 40 years.
Oh, okay.
He was, because he was 45 when he went in, and now it's been 40 years since that. So now he's 85 years old. And
okay, got it.
Yeah,
got it. I get it now. Thank you.
It just got me. 11. I am still as strong today as I was in the day Moses sent me. As my strength was then, so my strength is now, for war and for going out and coming in. Can you imagine being 85 and being as strong as you are at 45?
No.
Well, think about it, because the Lord, the whole time that the Israelites were out in the Sinai, in the wilderness, their shoes didn't even wear out. Their clothes didn't wear out. This is the power of the Lord.
Okay.
Everything was in a form of stasis, that they may have aged, but their bodies didn't deteriorate or diminish at all. Nothing diminished during that period. God was present with them in his Shekinah glory, and as a result of that, the presence of the Lord preserved them, literally preserved them. He is the preservative. He is our preservative. So he says, 12. Now then, give me all the hill country about which the Lord spoke on that day. For you heard on that day that Anakim, the giants, were there, with great fortified cities. Perhaps the Lord will be with me, and I will drive them out as the Lord has spoken. So he's saying, I'm strong like I was when I was 40. I'm strong like bull. And I give me the land that he promised me. If there's Anakim there, I'll get them out of here. With the Lord's help, I will get rid of them. I'll just take care of those. And an ambitious man, because he was ready to do that 40 years prior. So Joshua 13, so Joshua blessed him and gave Hebron to Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, for an inheritance. Therefore, Hebron became the inheritance of Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, until this day, because he followed the Lord God of Israel fully. Now the name of Hebron was formerly Kiriath Arba, for Arba was the greatest man among the Anakim, the giant among giants. Then the land had rest from war. So apparently Caleb went in there and got rid of these Anakim and changed the name to Hebron. It was no longer named after the Anakim. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Hebron, that is a name that's going to pop up again a bunch. That's a name you hear. It seems like in the New Testament that's a term. Maybe more with Paul and some of his sojourns and stuff like that. But I know I have heard that name a lot. So that's something that trying to think of it, if what context I did. But actually, this map I'm looking at, it's really pretty cool because one of them is the topography map. So if you're talking about geography, and then there's this other one, which is kind of, I think, where the tribes are, to tell you the truth. Oh, that's New Testament. Excuse me, that's New Testament times. That's a little bit before this, I guess, or after this.
Well, Hebron is in Judah. It ends up being in Judah. It's southwest of Bethlehem, which is southwest, a little bit south, or it's south and a little bit west of Jerusalem. It's over. It's due west from the Salt Sea or the Dead Sea, and it's almost due east from Gaza.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, and it
There
plays
you go.
Yeah, this is
You
part
guys
of.
know where it is? Here, it's there's what he's calling the Salt Sea.
Right.
Okay, and then just about halfway is Hebron.
There you go.
Here, I probably shouldn't write this, but it's right there. I don't know if you can read it or if that's in reverse.
Yeah, there's Jerusalem, and then there's Hebron. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
yeah.
Now there's a little town called Hebron here in Illinois that's west of here and a little bit north, out by Rockford, and kind of between Rockford and Belvedere in that general area. But that's not the Hebron we're talking about. It is now, but it's not the Hebron of the Bible. But it was named apparently for that city.
Probably.
Oh,
Yeah, okay, cool.
she Googled it. So
That's
30 miles from here.
Hebron, Illinois is 30 miles from here. In case anybody wants to know.
Just
There
so
you
you know.
There you go. It's 30 miles from here, Hebron, Illinois. Now I'm gonna break off and do a little rabbit trail here, if I may. The lighting isn't as good as it was earlier, but this cactus flower is just amazing. It's beautiful. It's half of it is these stunning red flowers with little white highlights, and the other half is these stunning white flowers with little red highlights. It's like half and half. I don't know
you
how
say
it
it's a
decides
cactus.
what's
You
going
say
to
it's
be
a
white.
cactus.
Yeah, it's a
You say it's a
cactus. Desert cactus.
It's a Christmas cactus. It
It's a Christmas-
blooms twice a year. It starts blooming at the end of October, and then it just started a couple weeks ago.
It's just
Oh.
one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. It's just
Aw.
I've never seen a flower like
Really?
this. It's just
Yeah, there's a lot I don't know, and the list gets longer every day.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the most decidedly odd-looking flower I've ever seen, but it's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So what a blessing. Yeah. And then we have, so that's what's behind us, if anybody was wondering or anybody actually cares.
Yeah, it kind of just looks like a greenery basket from here. So
Yeah. So I'd offer to let you smell it, but they don't have that capability on Zoom. And so, what is that? What they used to call that? The smell-o-vision or something? They were talking about that for a while. Yeah, I can see that being abused. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so that
Yeah.
is the end of chapter 14,
Okay.
also known as chapter 14.
Uh,
And so now we're going to venture into more of the geography.
So what the big picture is, and believe me, I'm no expert on Joshua. Okay, this is this after he's dead now, right? When this is going on,
No, he's just
he's
very
still
old.
alive.
Yes.
He's very old. I remember you said something right at the start. I couldn't tell if that was what you'd read the last time, but this looks like what it is a dispensation of properties.
It is. It is.
They have gotten there, and now they've got these lands to decipher. You know, between what they used to call I suppose, the northern tribes. And
well, that won't happen yet until
that'll come later.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because I did see something about Dan go rolling by. Maybe it was on one of my maps. I don't know.
Yeah. So what's happening here is God delivered the Israelites out of Egypt, and God made a promise to Abraham concerning all the land that God would give to Abraham and to Abraham's progeny and descendants. And so Abraham and Isaac and Jacob all settled in this area. This is where they're from, ostensibly. And what happened was when the 12 tribes went into Egypt during the famine, and they remained there, and then they were kept captive there, and they were kept captive there for 400 years. And so God delivered them out of Egypt, and he's taking them back to the land that was promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And on the way, he's telling them, I'm going to give you these lands, and these lands have been developed by other people. And you are going to inherit lands that you didn't cultivate. You're going to inherit cities that you didn't build. You're going to inherit wells you didn't dig. You're going to inherit flocks, or not flocks, but pastures that you didn't cultivate. All of these things. This is an inheritance, because the people that have occupied this land while you were gone have done horrific things in my sight, and I just can't stand it anymore. So they're gone. They're done. So I want you to go in there and just wipe them out, and this will be yours. And so as they get to the promised land, as discussed earlier in 14, Joshua and Caleb were the only two of the 12 spies that came back with a good report and said, yeah, well, let's go take this place. But the other 10 spies talked Israel out of it and put fear into them. And so they didn't go, and God said, fine, you don't trust me, you guys can wander around, because this generation I'm not going to deal with you. So you guys, there's too much Egypt in you. So your kids and your grandkids, and over the next 40 years, they will inherit this promised land. And so 40 years goes by, and that generation that existed, having themselves come out of Egypt, they're all gone, except for Joshua and Caleb. And even Moses has passed by this point. And Moses he passes on the baton to Joshua and says, you're going to be to Israel what I was to Israel, and you're going to lead them into the promised land. So now here's Joshua delivering the Israelites in there, and it's an entirely different generation, and they're tired of wandering in the desert. They want their homes, and here's their inheritance. So they go in and they do what the Lord commands, and they're destroying all these places, and now they're dividing up the land. So it's like you said, it's a dispensation of their inheritance, and who's getting what and what's getting, where everything is going. So chapter 15. Now the lot for the tribe of the sons of Judah, according to their families, reached the border of Edom southward to the wilderness of Zin at the extreme south. This is what you're talking about. Judah and Benjamin and Levi would become the southern kingdom. And then you have the 10 northern kingdoms. There was Israel, that was divided up after Solomon into two kingdoms, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And the southern kingdom was basically the land of Judah, and the wilderness of Zin, and the land that belonged to Benjamin, and the holdings of the Levites. And the 10 northern tribes were a different kingdom altogether. And so that's what you were talking about with the two kingdoms, but that doesn't come doesn't come until after David and after Solomon.
All right,
Um,
so that's a ways away. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
several hundred years from now. Their south border was from the lower end of the Salt Sea, or the Dead Sea, as we call it today, from the bay that turns to the south. Then it proceeded southward to the ascent of the Akrabim and continued to Zin. Then went up by the south of Kadesh Barnea and continued to Hezron, and went up to Adar, and turned about to Karka. It continued to Asmon and proceeded to the brook of Egypt. Now, the brook of Egypt, I imagine that would be
It's right here.
the rivers that flow from somewhere near the Dead Sea,
There's the Brook of Egypt.
by the Gulf of Aqaba. Is that right? Yeah,
There-
there you go.
There's Egypt,
Right.
and there's the
The brook of Egypt is up by Philistia.
Do they talk about Gaza at all? Because there's where Gaza is on this map.
Right. Yeah,
Back in
Gaza.
those old days.
Maybe that's a brook.
It goes that brook of Egypt goes into a hole like a swamp system. This is in the Sinai Peninsula, and it eventually weaves its way, after a lot of meandering, it weaves its way into the Gulf of Aqaba, which is in modern day Sinai and Saudi today. It's a division between Saudi and Sinai.
Aqaba.
Yeah.
Aqaba.
And so that's that.
All right, well, that's interesting. This map, they just kind of cut it off because they ran out of paper. See that?
Oh,
It doesn't really give too much of a reference.
Yeah.
But it does have Gaza on there. I assume that's probably modern day Gaza.
That is modern day Gaza. Yeah.
It's a little bit further up. It's about halfway across over here.
Mhm.
It's right there. So,
Yes.
yeah,
What I find-
okay.
What I find fascinating about this is these are cities from the days of Moses and before. Okay, these cities have been established since before, during Abraham's time, or a little bit after. So sometime between Abraham and Moses, or somewhere in there, these cities were established. They may have been communities, small communities, but they became towns and cities and commerce routes and everything else by this point. And they're still there.
No joke.
Most of these are still there. Well, Shiloh is not there, but they found it. The archaeologists have found it, and that's where the ark rested for years and years and years, before the temple was built, before any of that. But that's where the Ark of the Covenant rested. And I mean, Bethlehem is still where it is. Jerusalem is still where it is.
Nazareth.
Nazareth is
All
still
those-
there.
All those old New Testament names. Yeah.
Even
that we're
Old
familiar
Testament
with.
days, they still exist.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
still exist. Okay, so
Yeah, Maryland's been there
yeah, Maryland has been there.
to
Oh,
Jerusalem.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
cool.
right.
You've walked on
Isn't that
that
something?
ground.
I
Excellent.
have. Yeah, I have.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. I know. It was wonderful.
I can't even imagine to walk where the Lord's feet touched.
And to be in the Jordan River.
Oh, I'll bet, man.
Yeah,
That would be all right.
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Did you go swimming in the Dead Sea?
No, I did not, because they said if you have a heart condition, don't go in it.
Really?
And I thought, I don't know if I have a heart condition or not. So
Hmm.
I didn't want to take the chance.
And you didn't want to
But-
be assaulted.
But some people who went in, all of their blisters and everything on their feet and calluses came off.
It's
you
all
walk?
that darn salt.
Yeah, so the next day
Oh.
as they were walking, their feet hurt because they didn't have that callus to protect them from the
Oh,
rubbing
my.
shoes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Interesting.
Really?
Mhm.
That's something.
Yeah.
That's really something. That's very cool.
There's 4 Hebrons in the United States.
There's 4 Hebrons in the United States.
Hebron, Illinois,
She's
Hebron,
looking them all up.
Indiana, Hebron, Kentucky, and Hebron, Ohio. So
Hey, they're
nice.
all Midwest.
All
Yeah,
I
they're all
do a
Midwest.
field-
There's like
We
a,
could do a field trip.
yeah, that could be like the 4 corners of the Hebron square.
yeah, nothing out west.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. We can go from Hebron to Hebron to Hebron to Hebron until you've tasted hams. Dun, 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 dun. No, that's not right. Okay. Here we are, chapter 15, verse
Of
5
Joshua.
of Joshua. The east border was the Salt Sea, as far as the mouth of the Jordan, and the border of the north side was from the Bay of the Sea at the mouth of the Jordan. So kind of like a peninsula. You have the Salt Sea here, and you have the Jordan here, and everything in between there. That's pretty much the length of the Jordan or of the Salt Sea. Then the border went up to Beth Hogla and continued on the north of Beth Araba. And the border went up to the stone of Bahan, the son of Reuben. I wonder if that stone's still there. You know, if that was a giant stone, if it was a little stone, if over time it's been diminished, but I wonder if it's still there. Probably is, because the well that Jacob dug is still there.
It's still there.
Yeah, I mean, that amazes me. This is like 4,000 years ago, 3,000, but still.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The border went up from Debir to Debir from the valley of Achor and turned northward toward Gilgal, which is opposite the ascent of Adumim, which is on the south of the valley, and the border continued to the waters of En Shemesh, and it ended at En Rogel. Then the border went up the valley of Ben Hinnom to the slope of the Jebusite on the south, that is, Jerusalem. And the border went up to the top of the mountain, which is before the valley of Hinnom, to the west, which is at the end of the valley of Raphaim toward the north. From the top of the mountain, I wish I had a map, I really do.
I'm looking.
Yeah, from the top of the mountain,
Here it is.
the border curved to the spring of the waters of Nephtoah and proceeded to the cities of Mount Ephron. Then the border curved to Bela, which is Kiriath Jearim. The border turned about from Bala westward to Mount Seir and continued to the slope of Mount Jearim on the north, that is Chesalon, and went down to Beth Shemesh and continued through Timnah. I don't know where any of these places are. I can't even picture them. I have a general, vague, somewhat kind of a sketchy idea. And then we have
The
this.
way
You
this
have a
map is, I
great
didn't realize
map.
it. They
It
had,
is. It's a wonderful map. It is a wonderful map.
they had, well,
Thank you for sharing
can
that
see
map.
it says southern, so that's where you started. So then it just peeled it
Ah.
on back here to central.
There you go. This is
But it's
amazing.
daggone,
Yes.
it's so daggone small, I mean, once in a while, found other places too that weren't even on the, I was just trying to follow this, a little bit.
Hmm.
So,
It's called Central Palestine on your Bible.
Well,
yeah,
that's
it does.
That's during Roman times, right?
Well, central,
Kidding.
it doesn't say in reference to when this is, what the current deal on this is. It's got about elevations, miles, centimeters, just that it's a Nelson map, but it doesn't say at the time of the Romans, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I don't know, I just assume,
Hence the
it's-
Philistine
it-
reference. Yeah.
yeah. And then northern Palestine too, so, but anyway, the point is, as you were, I was actually connecting some of the towns as you were rattling them off, so.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But what time, what area, or,
Era.
yeah, is it,
So this is the divided kingdom. So this would be previous to that.
all right?
Um, probably oh 280 years, 280 years. No, it's even previous to that. There are where are we at?
15,
Okay, we're gonna go
Eight.
to the end of verse 13, if that's okay.
15, 13.
Okay.
Okay.
9, from the top of the mountain, yeah, we already read that.
9.
From the top of the mountain, the border curved to the spring of the water of Nephtoah and proceeded to the cities of Mount Ephraim and to the border curved to Bala, that is Kiriath Jearim. No, I already read that. 11. The border proceeded to the side of Ekron's northward. Then the border curved to Shikaron and continued to Mount Bela and proceeded to Jabneel, and the border ended at the sea. The west border was at the Great Sea, even its coastline. So the coastline of the Mediterranean is the border of that. This is the border around the sons of Judah, according to their families. And so this is how precise they were by geography of the places known at the time. So you go from here to here to here to here. You're going to skirt around the western edge of the Salt Sea. You'll be around the eastern edge of the Mediterranean, or the western edge of the Mediterranean Sea, and the western edge of the Salt Sea to the Jordan. And this is your area. And it's Judah is a very large area. Where the tribe of Judah inherited was pretty large, but it also encompassed a lot of wilderness too. So a lot of it was undeveloped. But this is also where I can't think. David, where David was a shepherd, and a lot of that wilderness there. Okay, 12. The west border was at the Great Sea, even its coastline. This is the border around the sons of Judah, according to their families. And we're going to end there. And we'll get into Caleb's section there and his portion next week, because this is such extremely interesting stuff, and not dry at all. And
it looks like you're getting up to about, if I got this figured out right, the Sea of Galilee. You're getting kind of close to that. Sounds like
Right.
to me.
to the north, yes.
It's that's still a little bit to the north.
Right.
All right. Well, cool.
Yeah.
It was fun just following this map while you
Yeah.
were reading,
Thank you
just
for
kind
that.
of climbing the tree, so to speak.
Puts everything.
So in the course of the next week, what I'm going to really concentrate on doing is finding out how to incorporate a map into this, so that while I'm droning on, you guys can actually see the map and look
Okay.
at all the spots, and it doesn't require anybody getting an ache in their shoulder from holding the book up or anything like that. And I really appreciate you doing that. Thank you very much.
Well,
Very kind of you. And
Great map.
it was a really good map. So we'll have to take advantage of that and the technology available to us. So before we close, any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, prayer requests, praises, anything like that?
This really was interesting. I thought, Joshua, well, this is unplowed ground for this old boy. So I mean, I knew who Joshua was, and I knew that they really got involved in some fighting big time. And I think we're kind of in the midst of that, to tell you the truth,
Yes.
from what I can tell. But interesting, it really is. It's fun to follow along here. Seeing names, finding out about Hebron.
There you go. There you go.
Well,
Very
good deal. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Did you have any?
Nope. But thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for your map, Ed.
Yes, thank you.
Oh.
It was so clear, even on Zoom.
Yeah,
It was out of a revised standard.
there we go.
And this one is real close to what you were. It's a NIV.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little different, but
Yeah.
not many. I didn't, it didn't change too much. So it was pretty darn close. So I was referring back and forth.
Very cool.
Mhm.
I'll look around and see if I can find any other maps.
Yeah, all right. Well, I hope you will join us next week, and I hope you
It
guys
was
have
fun.
a
I
wonderful
enjoyed
week
it.
here.
I enjoyed it. I'd love to come back.
And
This
we'll-
time I have the Zoom written down, so I can't erase it.
Good. Good.
Would anybody like to pray us out?
Sure, I will.
Thank you.
Our Heavenly Lord, as we come together, thank you for this opportunity to learn, to talk, to converse, to understand for myself, and maybe the others too, a part of the Bible not often studied, at least in my world anyway. Thank you so much. and for the camaraderie and all that, that's all part of it as we learn more than just a historical perspective, but as these people follow God's will. Amen.
Amen. Great. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
You're
All
welcome.
right.
You're welcome.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah.
Aye, aye.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.